My name is Maama and you're watching TeteATete. Today with me is Ms. Indikato, the founder of the TeteATete Empowerment Foundation. Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Mama.
So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Indikato. I am from Kaduna State, Southern Kaduna to be precise. Born in the late 80s.
Tell us about your work with the TeteATete Empowerment Foundation and how long it has been going for.
Well, the foundation actually, I started doing a lot of work for people where I come from. You know, I come from the Middle Belt. We both come from the Middle Belt. And there's a lot of crisis in the Middle Belt. But because the country is like overworked, I'll say, with the crisis in the Northeast, there's little focus on the Middle Belt. And we have tens of thousands of displaced people, destroyed properties, people who are just barely hanging on, with little or no government, or international recognition of the crisis going on there. So I just thought, okay, I have to do something about this. My people are going through this. I can't let this continue without something happening. And then I kind of believe that the more work I do, the more people will take note that this is happening and more attention will come to the crisis. And I think so far so good. So I take relief materials, we work with the people, just let them feel a presence of care, which is...
When was the foundation established?
Officially last year. We had been working for 3 years before people actually said, wait, you have to register. Yeah. I didn't think about it. So we registered last year.
Does the name have a meaning?
Yes, TeteATete is my father's name. So this is kind of like granting him some form of immortality. He died in 2014. Post 2015, a lot of us young people were very instrumental in the last elections. We're very vocal. Our voices were heard. But I believe we went into that election season without any negotiation for our place post-election. So we were part of it. We were important. We basically led the conversation where we wanted the conversation to go. But at the end of the day, young people had little or no say with the outcome of everything, And post 2015 elections, I decided that no, I don't think I want to keep talking about this thing from the outside. I think I want to take the next step and get into the ring and do stuff. And then, apart from that, I remember one of my first meetings with a politician, Mimiko. One of the first meetings I had with him, he said that he's a medical doctor and during his tenure as governor of Ondo State, he had this free medical program. The hospitals were well staffed, everything was good, great buildings, and healthcare was basically free for most Ondo people, women and children especially. And he said that as a medical doctor, he really wanted to do these things, and he had already started doing outreaches, doing free healthcare programs for people. But he thought, wow, I can do this on a bigger scale. And how can I do this on a bigger scale? I want power. If I'm in a position of power, I can achieve some of these things on a bigger scale. So that really stuck with me. I was like, oh, wow, I think I want to pursue power because most of the things I'm doing, most of the changes I want to see, I can only implement them when I am in this place. Like on the outside, there's only so much you can do. But when you have the power to create this on a larger scale, to actually create policies around the things you want to see, that's a great thing. So I need power to execute my ideas on a certain level. I think my people, politics requires strategy to a certain level. My people are PDP by default. Southern Kaduna, it's almost religiously PDP. And I think in terms of, I would say that Nigerian political parties do not necessarily have ideologies. They do not. This is the system we find ourselves in. So it's not something I'll blame on the PDP or on the other party. But I think that as far as a sense of an ideology goes, or people that I admire, the former governor of Kaduna State, Makarfi, and the likes of Mimiko, they were there. So these are people that could guide me through the process. Like, okay, let me be here. My people are here.
Do you have any political ambitions come 2019?
Of course, I am going to run for this come
May
2019. What office?
Yes.
I would end up. My political journey is all about the legislative arm of government.
Okay.
So we're still going back and forth between should we go to the state or to the federal. But I am running for office definitely. I do think that I won't deny the presence of I won't deny the presence of challenges, but I think, look, there are thousands and thousands of politicians, and there are very few positions. So it means that everybody is going to use whatever it is they can to get into those positions. So if you can say, oh, women should not get into this place to get yourself there, a politician will do it. Someone will do it to say that. But I think politics is very difficult for everyone. There are people who just got into office with this administration that have been in politics, active politics, since 1999 and have not served in any position. People of either gender. That is not to downplay how difficult it is for women, but politics is difficult for everyone.
In your line of work, I mean, you work with the public, you work with a lot of people. How do you feel when people ask you how you balance your life being a woman and having a career in politics?
I think I find it very irritating, to put it lightly, because you never see men getting asked those questions. Oh, how do you manage being a father and being a politician? How do you manage being a father and running this bank? Nobody asks those questions. But it's like I have to have a ready answer as a woman, to show them, oh, I can take care of my home and I can take care of this. No, I don't like those questions, and I will not acknowledge them.
Would you encourage more ladies, more young women to get into politics?
Why not? Of course they should. I think that not enough women are talking about it. Not enough women consider politics. I think it's not just that, oh, they think that it's difficult. They don't think about it at all. They are not raised to think about it, to consider it. It's not part of their conversation in terms of occupations or what they should do. And I think more young women should consider it.
So bringing it down for more young women, let's talk about women in the north. Let's bring it back.
Yes.
I think it's more rare to find a woman from the north.
Yes, the northwest region. I come from the northwest. There is not a single woman in the legislative arm of government, and I mean State House of Assembly, Federal House of Representatives, and the Senate. We don't have a single woman. This is the worst we've had it so far. It's really bad. I think that more women need to throw in, take this upon themselves to get into politics. We do have active women in politics in the Northwest, but getting elected is another issue entirely. And I think this last election season didn't really favor them well.
You were a member of the last PDP convention. What was the experience? And I noticed that you put up most of the things that happened on Twitter Live for everyone to see. That was incredible. Why did you do it?
I think I take on things that people think are typically, oh, difficult, or this cannot be done. And what I try to do when I get into these places is make these processes open, make them very approachable, make people see that, look, this is fun, this is normal. Your age mates can do it. It's not, most of these processes used to be closed. So when you heard of PDP convention before, these conventions were things you saw on TV. You just saw the prepared thing, the people giving the speeches, and people tend to see those people as, oh, those people up there, those politicians. But being part of the convention planning committee for PDP's last convention, taking those back shots, I really wanted people to see it like, oh, look, we're here, we're setting up, this is the process of doing this is the process of doing that. A young person is part of this process. It's normal. It's never just a perfect thing. You just don't see the president or the governors just on stage like that. There's a setting up process, and you can be part of this process. After that, I think I recorded some success, because I had a lot of young people sending me messages that, oh, they want to be part of this process. They want to be in PDP. How can they join the PDP? I had an argument recently with someone on Twitter, and she went off on how, oh, she doesn't know how people would say, will talk about government and then still be part of this corrupt what, and things like that. And yeah, I didn't have time for that. I didn't have time for that argument. I refused to engage it. But you can't change these things from the outside. You can't say, oh, I hate what they are doing, so I'm just going to keep staying outside here and keep shouting about how much I hate what they're, how much hate I have for what they're doing. You actually have to go in there and change these things from the inside. And I do understand that a lot of people lose themselves in politics, but it's also, I think you don't have to. I think if you go into politics with a particular purpose, this is what I want to do, you'll find your way to do what it is you want to do. I do not think that just standing outside and constantly complaining about what you think is wrong is going to affect anything. I also think that notion that people have that, oh, politicians are bad, right? So oh, this person is a politician, politicians are bad, politicians are bad. But at the end of the day, you end up voting them into office. Begrudgingly or whatever the case is, you end up voting them into office. And then you feel like, oh, there are good people that should create a change in the society. But they should not be in leadership positions. Because of course you need politics to get into those positions. You feel like they should be on the outside, crying for the change, singing about the change, working hard on the outside for the change. Then some bad people are the politicians, right? And those people end up getting elected because they're in the political system. It doesn't work. There's no connect where you think good people should be on this side, but bad people should be elected, but you want the change to happen. The change does not happen by singing about it. It happens by creating it, being in the position to create it. So I think that, people tend to ask, oh, are you an activist or a politician? And I tell them it's not mutually exclusive. I can be both. I can enter this office and then create what it is I want to see, what it is I'm complaining about. And I think it's a further step for me. If I'm already doing some of the things I want to see happen, what next is to get power to implement it on a larger scale. So
if elected, what would you focus your energy most on in Kaduna State? What would be the thing that you would put in your most energy to see it come to light in the state?
Where I come from, I think we need to grow beyond a certain level. We're stuck somewhere, and it's I wouldn't say we are not lazy, but I think certain people grow when their environment starts creating new challenges for them. But you see, the middle belt, everything the people in the middle belt want, they have. They have food at their doorstep, like they have excess land, good weather, good soil, good everything. So they were really comfortable. And the world is evolving and going. But because, we don't have to struggle like most of those other tribes who have like scarcity of land, scarcity of other things, and grow out of certain places, we're stuck there. And the world is moving. So we have to create new methods for our people to move. I'm not necessarily saying that they have to leave agriculture, but there are new methods of doing agriculture. So my primary assignment is to make sure that my people, given everything they have, catch up with the rest of the world. We have to improve on education, agricultural best practices. There's so many things, Women, that's a big deal, because in the Middle Belt we find that there are a lot of women who are trained to be breadwinners. We're not trained to just sit and collect, But in being trained to be breadwinners, they're not equipped with the things that would help them in the new society, the new world and how things are going. So these are some of the things. I want to take governance beyond borehole sinking and culverts building. We have little children. When you came in, you saw little children. They're here, they're learning how to code and other things, and we are left behind. So I want us to get on that level. I want more children out there. I want more exposure for our people. So I want to shift governance from some of these things too, from the days of culverts and boreholes to, catching up with the rest of the world.
If elected come 2019, how would you tackle the issue, the religious barrier issue in Kaduna State?
I have a program that we're working on right now already without being in government, and it's an interfaith program. Now, what we intend to do is to bring women from both religions, right? And we recognize the importance of women in these societies. Now, it's a traditional patriarchal society. Women take care of the homes. Women raise the children. So at the end of the day, and then back in the societies, rural societies, women organize better. They are the market women. They have all their organizations. They have everything. And so we have that at the end of the day, they influence certain things, certain decisions, who their husbands vote for. They have where it pricks them, and they have how they meet to have all these things. So one of the things we're trying to do is to bring these women groups together, make them create things for sale together. So we have them from Monday to Friday working on different things, sustainable things to produce, to sell out, because a lot of them are farmers, but they can no longer go to the farms. The farms are not safe. So they come together, they produce these things, and then every Thursday is an interfaith talk. Every Thursday they have to talk about the different angles they are coming from the Christian angle, from the Muslim angle. And then on other days they work. Now, whatever they are going to create is going to be sold, and they get their profit, and they live well. But they have to come together as Muslim women, as Christian women, and work in the same place. We're hoping that this, evolves into something much bigger. We've seen it work in other societies, so let's see how. A lot of these women, again, some of these programs do come with their own form of,
Yes.
and education is, it's not just, the brick and mortar
Yes.
school thing that we see. There are different kinds of education. I think that even giving these women their own financial security, giving them a sense of, having their own, does something to them. It opens their minds up to different things. These are women that, for example, the Muslim part of Kafanchan, the Jama'ah Emirate. We were there a couple of months ago, to do outreach. I sent some bags of rice to them and everything. Now, a lot of the women who are widows don't even know how they are going to get food to eat because they are not used to even going out to look for anything. So you have women who are they're just locked in there. I do think that that freedom is some form of education for them. That ability to create things for themselves, it will open your mind to other things. You're no longer locked in there. You're no longer unable to cater for yourself. So let's see how they would do that. And of course, coming together with people who you are not used to coming together with before. That is education itself. I do think that it's not going to start so smoothly. I think we will have issues, but as time goes on. For me, it's the middle belt. It's the middle belt, it's the middle belt, it's the middle belt, We can only go forward when we have. This is what I wanted to create this for. And I also wanted to create it for women. So there is that angle where let's face, in terms of relief work and trying to get people out of a certain situation, let's face this region because this region is not getting enough attention. The other aspect, what the other thing the Nidari Empowerment Foundation does is for young women in politics. That's where I've set up some subgroups for that. We have Young Women Political, and She Wins NG, and all that. And what this does is, look, in politics, I keep telling people that, sorry, I have to go off because you asked. Yes. So in politics, we say women are an endangered species in politics, right? So we keep it here. Then we say young people are another endangered species in politics, So we have that, right? So when people are talking about young people in politics, they're talking about young men. They're not talking about young women because we are almost non-existent. So that's one thing. Then when they're talking about women in politics, they're talking about older women. They're not talking about younger women. So between these two, younger women do not belong under youth. They're not flourishing there, and younger women are not flourishing under women in politics. So we have to create a group for younger women, a special interest, anything for younger women to push younger women in politics. And that's another thing I'm really into.
All right, thank you so much. That's all the time we have. Thank you for watching TeteATete. To join us next time. See you soon.